Hey guys, different day, same quarantine. Coming at you today with another book tag. This one is called the A to Z book tag, and it was originally created, I believe, by FictionNoChaser, which is a reading blog. And as it's a little bit of a long one, I figure we'll just jump right into the tag. So first up is of course, an author that you have read the most books of. And I really had to think about this one because there are several authors that I love their work, so I'm like slowly consuming all of it. But just doing like the mental checklist, I think the author that I've read the most of is probably Meg Cabot. I devoured her 1-800 Where Are You series, Mediator series, Princess Diaries, a couple of her standalone romances, her historical fictions, and then I've also read a couple of her others, fantasy-ish type things, and her mystery. I read one of the mysteries, so yeah, I think altogether that probably puts her as my most read author. Next is the best sequel ever. Hands down, I can say, and I've heard mixed things about this from people lately, but my personal favorite sequel ever, and the best one honestly that I think I've ever read, would have to be Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. Besides this being a completely unexpected sequel to, a book that came out in like 1980, this was just a great conclusion to that, and I really, really enjoyed it. Currently reading is the next one. Okay, so this is gonna be a little hard. I am currently in the middle of several books. I think my first video I did featured most of these, because I was talking about the books I'm stuck on. So we'll just quickly go through them. I am actively reading 3, and then the rest of them I'm also reading. I'm just stuck for various reasons, but anyway. So I'm actively in the middle of Death Without Company by Craig Johnson, Wondersmith, The Calling of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend, Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillier, and then I also am stuck in The Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, The House of Seven Gables by Nathaniel Hawthorne, I Shall Wear Midnight by Terry Pratchett, Ink Death by Cornelia Funke, Falling for Hamlet by Michelle Ray, and Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. So, yeah, my nightstand is full. Let's see. D. For D, the drink of choice while reading. Normally my drink of choice is something warm, whether that be tea, coffee, cocoa with a little something extra in it. But a lot of the times, especially now when it's starting to get warmer, it's usually just water. Reading or talking about reading makes you parched. So, yeah. E-reader or physical book. Physical book all the way. I have headaches that I get sometimes from staring at screens too much, whether it be laptop, phone, video game things. I stare at screens way too much, and I get extremely bothersome migraines. So, yeah, anytime when I can not be looking at a screen is wonderful. Also, I just honestly prefer having like a tangible something to hold in my hands because it's just like way better. Book that you glad you gave this book a chance. Blah. Glad you gave the book a chance. That book would be A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I really, really, really enjoyed this book. I was a little bit hesitant at first just because I'm extremely picky with fantasy. A lot of the times I'll try something out and I just hate it. So I was a little hesitant about it, but I did read her City of Ghosts first, and as I enjoyed her writing, I decided to give this a chance, and I am very, very, very glad I did because this is wonderful, and I hope to read the other two books very soon. Let's see, a hidden gem book. For this particular one, I am gonna go with Runaway Rails by E.A. Catania. And this is, well, I have to be honest, the author of this book is a friend of mine, but I do think that this is a hidden gem, like something that maybe people don't know too much about. It was a self-published work, but it is very much worth it. It is historical fiction geared towards young adults, and it is just a sweet tale with an important message. And I mean, it's like kids on the run on a train in like the 1940s. I mean, if that is your jam, you should definitely check that out. An important moment in your reading life. I was thinking about this one, and I'm not entirely sure what to name as like an important moment in my reading life exactly, because I mean, I've read several different books that resonated with me at different points in my life. I could say one moment would be learning to read, but other than that, I mean, I guess discovering Harry Potter is a big one. Discovering Terry Pratchett last year would also be a big reading moment. I don't really know how to define that one exactly because I just enjoy reading books, and that really hasn't changed over the years, so I don't know really what to name a good moment, big moment. J, a book that you just finished. That would be They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, which is an awesome autobiographical, or rather memoir. It's a graphic novel. You should read it. What kinds of books I won't read? I usually... Okay, so there could be exceptions to a couple of these. One I will definitely never read would be nonfiction books about like diseases or scientific discoveries and stuff like that. It's just not A, something that interests me, and B, I'm a hypochondriac, so reading about stuff like that is just gonna set me off. And other than that, I usually also do not read books about war or concerning wars or anything like that, but there are exceptions to the rule. I did enjoy They Called Us Enemy, which is during World War II. I actually used to be really into reading books about World War II, but most of the time it was about like the home front in like America and England and stuff like that. It wasn't so much like in the war zone, because just most of the time it gets too graphic and it gives me nightmares, so I just can't. And other than that, books I usually I won't read is honestly most of YA fantasy. I can't say all of it. I just say most of it because I've outgrown over the years the tropes that are in there a lot of the time. So usually, but like I said, there's exceptions to those rules at times. The largest book I've ever read. So this one, before I turned the camera on, I started looking at my shelves and I checked a couple of huge books I remember reading online to see if I like came up with a different answer. But at this point, I can say that the longest book I've ever read would be Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, because I think that clocks in at like 820, 40 pages or something like that. Yeah, at this point I haven't read a book bigger than that, but as soon as I read, like, I think either Count of Monte Cristo or Don Quixote, I think those books are like 900 pages, so that will be my new longest book. But for right now, it is the 5th Harry Potter book. Next question is a book that caused a major book hangover. For this one, I would say Hollow Earth by Carol E. Barrowman and John Barrowman. Yes, that is John Barrowman of Doctor Who and Torchwood fame. This was an exciting, fantastical adventure. It deals with twins, which is something I truly love to see in books. And it also is set in Scotland, which is something I also love in books. So this was a fun read. I still haven't read the other books in the series. I think there's like 2 or 3 out right now. Yeah, this caused a little bit of a book hangover at the time, just because I wanted more of what this was, and I didn't have anything like it on hand at the time. But yeah. Let's see. Number of bookcases owned. I have 5 bookcases. 5, 2, 3. Well, technically we have 6, but okay, so yes, so we have 6 bookcases. But this is one. I have another one which is like built into my desk over here, which only has a few books and notebooks on it, and then I have another of my main ones in my bedroom, and then I have a another my graphic novel and manga case that I showed in another video, and then I also have a bookcase in the kitchen which holds all of our cookbooks. And then we have another bookcase, but that has my husband's manga on it and like all of our board games. So it's like kind of a bookcase, but it's also being used as like where we store all of our games and our anime figures, because we're nerds. So that's what that is. But yeah, I guess so that's technically 6. Let's see. One book that you read multiple times. One book that I have read multiple times. Yeah, I'll go with this one. I have read The Westing Game by Alan Raskin many times. I used to read this at least once or twice a year when I was in like elementary school and junior high and stuff like that. But yeah, I have read this several times. I just reread it again a couple of months ago. But yeah, it is a good read, and it's part of what really got me into mysteries when I was younger. So good. Let's see. Preferred place to read. I pretty much like anywhere that's comfortable. Like a cat. I will find the most comfortable spot and curl up there. Sometimes it's bed, because bed is comfy. But like laying across it hurts my back because I am like an old woman. So sometimes it's the couch, a comfy chair. Occasionally I'll find a actually nice place to sit outside, be out there. Yeah, anywhere that's comfortable, pretty much. I will pop a squat. Quote that inspires you from a book you have read. So I have two that I thought of off the top of my head, and they both come from Harry Potter. One comes from the first Harry Potter, and the other one is, I think it's from the second one. Yes, I think it's from the second one. They're both from Dumbledore. So, the first being, "It does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. Remember that." And then also is, "It is our choices that show what we truly are far more than our abilities." So, yeah. What is a reading regret? I have a couple of books that I regret spending time on, but I think the biggest one would probably be the 2 days that I spent reading the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy several years ago. The job I was working on, people were constantly just coming back and forth on the ferry I worked at, and they were just reading it, and I was very confused as to why it was popular, because it didn't sound like it was great to me. But so I decided to check out why everyone was obsessed with the damn thing, and yeah, it was shit, and those are 2 days of my life that I'm never going to get back. It did give me a nice time to hate read something, but yeah, it was terrible. Series that you started and need to finish. That is pretty much everything in my life. I have like I said, I have the Darker Shade of Magic series. I have Longmire, Agatha Christie, Discworld, Tiffany Aching, Wondersmith, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, 5 million other books. I also started the Dresden Files last year. I really need to read more of those. It was really good. Yeah, and that's not even mentioning like the manga that I need to finish reading. So it's like I have a lot. 3 of your all-time favorite books. So I have been considering this since I found this quiz yesterday. I've really been, not the quiz, excuse me, this book tag. I've been really thinking about it because I have always such a hard time naming, like, you know, my absolute favorite book is an impossibility. But I'm trying to really consider it because I would like to do, like, if not my favorite, maybe like the most impactful book list or something. I don't know. I'll think about it. But Okay, so neglecting just Harry Potter. Like, we'll put Harry Potter aside and we'll put, like, The Shining aside because I went on about that for a while. So, oh, okay. I think that if I'm really thinking about books that I read or reread consistently or really meant something to me, besides those that I mentioned, I guess it would be, three of my favorites would be A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, Murder on the Orient Express by Hercule Poirot. Excuse me, he is in it. Agatha Christie wrote that. And The We Free Men by Terry Pratchett. And I'm going to move on before I second guess myself. Something you are an unapologetic fangirl for, that would be Harry Potter, Tiffany Aching, and honestly also the Alex Rider series by Anthony Horowitz. I know that I'm not necessarily the target audience because I am not middle grade, but it's a fantastic series, especially if you like spy novels. It's a good time. Very excited for this release. I have two books that I'm very excited for, and I can't wait for the release, and they are both by Victoria Schwab, or V.E. Schwab, and one is The Bridge of Souls, which is the third book in the City of Ghosts series, and I believe it takes place in, oh goodness, I think it takes place in New Orleans, or no, I'm pretty sure it's New Orleans. I'm almost 100% certain. And that doesn't come out until next year. So I got a long ass time to wait. And then the other one I'm excited for comes out, I believe, this fall. And that is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. And I don't know. I'm kind of up in the air on that one. But it does sound interesting. And I know she's like wicked excited about it, which makes me kind of excited about it. So yeah, I'm really want that to come out soon. Alright, so the worst bookish habit. Well, I guess the worst bookish habit depends on who you ask, because, I mean, I don't really write in my books too much anymore, but I used to do that a lot, and I know that's, like, blasphemy to some people. I also tend to dog-ear the pages, when I'm trying to remember, like, a quote, so that's probably terrible book sins. But I think it's honestly probably a tie between my need to like reorganize them all the time, or the fact that I keep buying more books when I haven't finished reading all of the ones that I bought previously. That's probably a bad one. Alright, X marks the spot. Start at the top left of the shelf and pick out the 27th book. Okay. I'm honestly not going to count the very, very top because it's mostly Harry Potter stuff and it's too hard to get to. So we're going to start here. 27th. Alright, the 27th book is The Secret Adversary by Agatha Christie. This is part of her Tommy and Tuppence series, which is pretty good, actually. This one was, it's been a while since I've read this one, but I think I remember enjoying it. Still prefer, like, Marvel or Poirot, but it's not bad. Let's see. Your latest book purchase. So for this, I did do like a last quarantine book haul, I swear, video, which I'll like link maybe or put it somewhere in here for you to see if you're at all interested in that. But that was like the last big purchase I made. Until a package came like 4 or 5 days ago, and I realized that at some point in my drunken evenings of watching things and looking at shit online, apparently I also purchased another book, and it just came. So that is Northern Borders by Howard Frank Mosher. So this is technically my latest purchase. I have, however, read this one. I do know that I've read this one. I was assigned it in a history class back in high school, and that's how I discovered Howard Frank Mosher, actually, and it was really good. So good for drunk me. She did a good thing. I was wanting to have this and reread it, actually, so good. Alright, last question is a Z Snatcher book. Last book that kept you up late. Thinking on it, I believe that The Hand on the Wall by Maureen Johnson was the last book to keep me up late. I think that this was before quarantine started, so I was pretty friggin' exhausted when I actually had to get up for work the next morning, and I'd stayed up till like 2 finishing this bad boy, but it was worth it. Alright, that is the A to Z book tag. It's a little bit of a long one. Sorry about that, guys. I hope that you are having an alright day. It is another pretty May day out here, so I'm gonna try to enjoy it, and I hope if it's nice by you, you're also gonna try to enjoy it, or at least spend some time opening your window, maybe, or I don't know. Whatever you can do safely. Hope you all are well and have a good time reading.